Hello, welcome to the Squares of the Round Table. Driver and Ivan speaking. Of course, you are now here with us, along with the great Jeff and the great Mike. How y'all doing this evening?
I'm great.
Oh, excuse me, I'll put the phone down. Anyway.
Apparently, I'm great.
Well, I know you're great. So I'll tell you you're great again. And I'll tell you you're great, Mike.
Thanks.
And I'm great. I'm great.
Hope everybody out there is having a great day. Episode 121.
I mean, Monday doesn't have to suck, okay? It doesn't have to suck.
Yeah, I've had some pretty bad Mondays. And let's hope this Monday is whatever day of the week you're listening is a good one to you.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever day you pick up this wonderful program on your pod platform or on your YouTube platform or whatever platform you listen to us on, or, on a plate of spaghetti or maybe some macaroni and cheese, or maybe a plate of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches toasted with some chocolate milk. And so, oh man, I'm getting hungry. Sorry, I went on a tangent. Okay, how are we doing this week, guys?
I'm doing good.
All right.
How about you, Jeff?
I'm here.
How was your week, Jeff?
Singapore was cool.
Went to Singapore.
Technically, I was in Singapore on Saturday morning.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Racist.
It was really fascinating. I was about 25. I spoke to a group of about 25 and did about a half an hour, and I felt like it went pretty well. Contest-wise, I didn't win, but that's okay. I can now talk about the fact that I was talking about how I found the love of my life, which is Cookie Monster, because he was on my Navigation Waze app, and that was where I was making all my jokes about things. And I thought it was cute, but it didn't work as well as I would like. It happens. And then I did another presentation on Sunday night again, so it was pretty much a presentation weekend. I'm kind of looking forward to being able to kind of kick back this week and be like, okay, maybe no presentations this week. But
just recharge the batteries.
A little bit, yeah. So
begging your pardon, Jeff, but I couldn't help but have read some of your articles. Okay, and someone contested your DTM status.
They didn't contest it. So
for the crowd, what does DTM stand for?
Yeah, I was getting there. So if you've been a member of Toastmasters International for a period of time, you can attain what's called your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. And only 1% of all Toastmasters get this award. So that already kind of puts me in a very, very rare company that I have one to begin with anyway, because it's considered rare. That's not to say
it's prestigious.
Yeah, it's prestigious.
It's a prestigious award.
It's one of those things where it's like it's prestigious, and sometimes I feel like I got it out of the Cracker Jack box. But
you earned it.
Right, exactly.
It's not just a major award like the leg lamp Christmas story. It's better than that.
Can I be honest?
Yeah, it's much better.
I'll be honest. I'd rather have the leg lamp. That would be kind of cool. I'm gonna be honest, because it's like, the leg lamp I can at least use on a regular basis. It's like they give you this medallion, and it's like, all right, what do we gotta do? I'm gonna wear it everywhere and look like and look like every time at these events and wear the medallion and look like this like proud strutting.
No, just look like Han Solo at the end of A New Hope.
Right, but after that, he stops wearing the damn medallion. At some point, you take the medallion off. You don't, wear all the medallions. Continue. You still, and Empire Strikes Back did not wear no goddamn medallion.
No, he didn't even hang it on the dash of the Falcon.
Right, exactly. No. So, I mean, it's like you put it in the drawer.
Put it in a bin, and there you go.
Yeah, there you
hang it up somewhere on the door or something.
Right, it's like, don't get me wrong, it's a nice plaque. I mean, it's great. So anyway, so they've made a changeover in the program where they've put together a newer program, and it wasn't necessarily that they challenged it, but the people who were competing in my particular grouping of this area all happen to have their Distinguished Toastmaster, which is really pretty cool. And this person who was the MC of the night, who was also this sort of district leader, kept wanting to preface the Distinguished Toastmaster awards that all of us had gotten as being from the traditional program. And so I kind of said, well, okay, well, Distinguished Toastmaster is a Distinguished Toastmaster, which is true, and it should be. And this person kind of went along with it. And it's always kind of amusing when someone goes along with it, and then they say something, and you're like, no, you just did exactly what the problem was. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I still have another contest somewhere else that if weird things go wacky. So I was like, okay, I'll just bring it up on Facebook at some point. Because I had a couple other people mention to me that are like, yeah, people seem to be doing that lately. And
drama.
It's like, yeah, a little bit. I mean,
well, drama llamas.
It's just one of those where it's like, you know, it's
okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, but see, the thing about it is, though, okay, you earned it, you worked hard for it, okay? Nobody needs to undermine it or dispute it or talk badly about it or do anything to it. I mean, yeah, people are jealous. People say really stupid things. And people, you know, they get that type of way, you know, they get all like, you know, on their high horse about certain things. And it's just like, really, people? I mean, whatever happened to good sportsmanship? Whatever happened to camaraderie? Whatever happened to all of that, you know, in whatever we got ourselves involved in? I mean, you know, you got sports now. I mean, you got the little leaguers. And the parents are more involved about kicking each other's asses than the kids are, you know?
Well,
and
that's a longer conversation.
Yeah, that's a different
I know that's a longer conversation, but it's still a valid point, okay?
Yeah, although I will tell you, after I lost, I kind of had that reaction where I wanted to kind of go all Billy Martin a little bit, but I'm like, nope, can't do it. I'm like, I did privately say a few things to people, or I was like, that's because there's a part of me where I'm like, and I'm not going to say anything that I think gets me in trouble, but it probably will anyway, so I'll just say it. I felt I was funnier, and I thought that the person won. Don't get me wrong. The problem is the ballot is if you follow the ballot, it's more than about being humorous, and that's fine. But every time I've ever seen this contest, and I've competed, and I've checked off all the things on the ballot, I always lose to the funniest person. Lately, I've been going for funny, and I keep on losing to the people who keep checking off the ballot. And I'm like, that's it. I'm done with this stupid contest. As it is, there's certain things you can't do because it's like, okay, it's not supposed to be a comedy routine, and I can't use the word fuck or shit.
Well, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly. And so sometimes I'm kind of like, why am I doing this contest again? Anyway, so yeah. What else?
I'm sorry you didn't win.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Again,
you can't win them all.
I'm going to lose. Yeah, I can. Fuck that shit.
That's the spirit.
Hey, this is what I'm talking about that winning thing that I was talking about. Where he's like, you know, everybody. I'm like, yeah. I'm better at keeping it in check than I used to be. But back in the day, oh shit, I used to go Billy Martin on people. Go, are you kidding me? What are you watching? When I was judging this shit. You're nuts. You people wear here. Would you like? Do you need glasses? Would you like me to get you some? I wasn't that. I didn't say things like that, but I was.
I love it when you do that shit. Though I love it when you go on tangents like that.
The part that's frustrating is everybody wants to sit there and be like they want this decorum when it's over, and it's like, screw that. It's a contest.
Right.
It's no different than sports. I mean, okay, you slap hands, but at the end of the day, when you go in the locker room, you're like, fuck that shit, those fuckers. You know, you hear that stuff.
Right.
Can't do that. Oh, everybody has to be nice to one another. Fuck that.
Oh,
I just lost the contest. You're damn right. It's like I've gotten to the point now where I laugh because it's like, especially if it's bad. At least the other night it was like somebody who I like and And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And it wasn't something where I really felt like really, really strongly like, okay, if I win, if I lose, I lose. I'm okay with it a little bit. I'm not okay, but you get the idea. I wasn't like earth-shakingly pissed. But there have been times where it's like I got done with a contest and I'm looking at the results and I'm like, just wait till you get in the car. Just wait till you get in the car.
And then as you close the door, fuck you!
Oh my God, absolutely. Well, it's funny because I have certain friends of mine, sometimes I'll have friends of mine who will like see that it happened, and they'll be like, I get in the car, and it's like, and they're like, yeah, we were expecting your phone. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit, motherfucker! God damn it! What the fuck were they watching? What the fuck was that shit? And it's like, thank God a lot of people don't listen to this podcast. I could get away with saying stuff like this. Normally it'd be like, people be like, see, there he goes again. It's like, no, it's supposed to be a little bit, I mean, if you actually give a rat's ass and you really, really want to win, you're doing everything you want, and at the end of the day, the objective is to win. Yeah, if you lose, if it really doesn't hurt, then if it doesn't really hurt you, if your reaction is, oh gosh, oh well, maybe you didn't work hard enough.
Then everybody should get a medal because everybody's a winner.
Everybody's a winner.
Either it's a contest or it's not, and everybody wins, but that's not real life.
Well,
no,
my favorite
it's not.
Is that.
But a lot of people want to create that reality. Oh, we don't want to hurt the psyche. He's not a loser. He came in second place. No, he's in second place. And if he wanted first place, he would have worked hard enough to get it.
Here's the problem with second place. Second place would be great if it wasn't for the fact that second place doesn't get me to the next round.
That's right.
Second place doesn't get me to the next round. If second place got me to the next round, I'm good with second place.
Isn't there like a wild card kind of?
I wish.
No?
I wish. Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing I laugh about is, especially with the international contest, there's some, I could go a long way on this conversation, but there are things where I found out later the way things work in other districts because of the size of those districts and certain things. And all I can say is,
does size matter?
All districts are not created equal, and there are plenty of occasions where my reaction, just to give perspective, if certain districts don't have certain types of a certain amount of population of membership, literally, you could be like the second place winner from club, area, and division and get all the way to district and not won a thing and still somehow get to district and win district. There literally are districts like that. And I'm like,
yeah, but how does that make that? How does that make for competition, though?
We need to move to a smaller neighborhood.
Right. Well, I need to move. Ready? I need to move to a shittier state. There you go. I need to move to the middle of. I've joked about it. I'm like, do I need to move to the middle of nowhere? Yeah, so I can, some of these places where you're like, really? I swear, there have been times I've been at, I watched semifinals. I'm like, who the what? Really? I'll never forget the first time I ever saw a semifinal in person. By the time it was over, my reaction was like, I got a speech. I can compete. Am I allowed? I think I can win. You realize you haven't gotten that far. You're not qualified. I don't care. I think I got what I got is better than anything that's here. And I haven't done that speech in 3 months. I think I can beat every one of them. And you don't want to be that way, but sometimes you're watching stuff and you're like, man, what the hell?
Well, it's like Grandpa said. Who said life is fair? Where's that written?
Well, that's the problem. The other thing I keep laughing about, and you guys will get the other thing I laugh about is because I do some coaching, and I swear there are times where literally I'm watching somebody speak, and within 5 seconds I'm like, nope, that's gonna lose. And they're like, how can you say that? I'm like, I'm watching it. You only saw a minute. Yeah, that was enough. I don't need to see it anymore. And they're like, how can you judge that on a minute? I'm like, are you watching? If you're really watching, you would know why this is done already. If you're really paying attention. But anyway, I did see. So Fox has this. They're calling it a maxi series called Next, and it's about if all the things that we could be talking about in 2020. It's about like an AI gone rogue kind of thing, where it seems to like tries to be like taking people out. I mean, it sounds very like The Net or some of these other things.
Wasn't that like movie with Shia LaBeouf, Eagle Eye?
It has a little bit of that.
Yeah.
To it, yeah.
Okay.
I will say this because my first reaction was I'm like, hasn't this been done before? But it's entertaining. I mean, if you're not going to take it ridiculously seriously, it's got enough action, it's got enough intrigue, it's got enough of the little things that it's like, you know what? If I want to sit down and I want something that isn't the usual medical or law drama or
or cop
whatever.
drama.
Right, or the usual cop drama. This is something a little bit different.
And you said this is on Fox?
Yeah, it's on Fox. It's
okay.
on Tuesday nights. It's on Tuesday nights. And like I said, I watched the first 2 episodes. I still haven't gotten, ready? I haven't gotten to Swamp Thing yet. And I'm tomorrow I guess it's on again. So I'm going to be about 3 episodes behind. At some point I'll get to watching Swamp Thing. I'll admit, Swamp Thing is not one of my favorite DC characters. So maybe that's a part of the reason why I'm kind of like, You
ever see the original back in the 80s?
The one with Heather Locklear?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it, but I'm aware of Heather Locklear.
I saw it years ago. It was like, wasn't that one of the first R-rated superhero films?
Maybe. I have no idea.
I think it was rated R because of the gore, and I think there was a little bit of titties in it. I'm not sure.
With Heather Locklear? That would be enough reason to go watch that.
No, it wasn't Heather.
That's all I got from it.
There was another female lead in it. She was like a brunette with like a perm.
I thought Heather
Swamp
Locklear
Thing.
was... Oh, there's... No, hold on a second.
Yeah, we'll have to look
now I got it.
Yeah, Jeff's looking it up. Ivan, how was your weekend?
I'm positive.
My weekend was good. I happened upon the guys over at Spinning Wheel, and they were doing a quiz night on Saturday night, so I just happened upon it, and I joined in, and then they invited me to talk, in the group, Spinning Wheel group, and then Jimmy Temple had asked me, he goes, "Hey, Ivan, do you want to do a set at Spinning Wheel on Sunday?" And I told him, I said, "Well, I don't have Mixcloud yet. I don't have nothing." He goes, "You can do it on the page." And I says, "Well, the only way I could do it on the page is if you take my performances off the page after I'm done, because I don't want your page to get taken down in case I get tagged." And they agreed to that. So yeah, I got to be on Spinning Wheel on Sunday from 1 to 3 in the afternoon, which is 7 to 9 their time. And then I followed up with the Sweet Soulful Sunday. And, by about 6 o'clock on Sweet Soulful Sunday, I got a message from Soraya that says, "Yeah, I'm coming over, Dad." I'm like, wonder what this is. So that's why I curtailed my Sweet Soulful Sunday, because, I wanted to attend to Soraya and everything. And then we spent the evening together, and we made banana bread, and we watched the Addams Family, and, that still holds up. It was still
the first one?
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, where Fester loses his memory?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that was the best one.
Where they ask about if Girl Scout cookies were made with real Girl Scouts, right?
Exactly. That was the one. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. No, I saw that in the theater back in the day. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but we got, Soraya wanted to see it, and it was like it cheered us both up, and it got us through our evening, and we were real happy. She got home, and everything was cool, and then so that was all right, and then I was supposed to record my third episode of Autumn Sunsets by the Street Lamps, but I haven't gotten around to it because I was having some problems. I had to get one of my turntables were down, so I had to go ahead and get that fixed up. And after I do our recording tonight of this podcast, then I'm going to be busy getting that out onto SoundCloud, right away. And also today I was working on my gear. Working on the tape machine, my reel-to-reel tape machine, and then going through some old reel-to-reels. And, of course, I put some pictures up on Facebook. I'm sure you saw the crazy blue photograph that was making the rounds. That effect was created because I had the lights turned off in the room, and my mixing board lights shine real blue, and I was like looking at it through the lens like, this is really cool. Let me take a shot of this. And I put the timer on the telephone and shot the picture. It was because I found one of the original Planet Music production reels. That was the show's first name back in 1995 before it became Roots and Influences over at Weave. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up breaking night listening to some of those tapes. I found Jeff his production reel for Borderline. I found a production reel with some of your stuff on it. I found a production reel with Jonathan Reese. Remember him?
I do. That was a big Kiss fan, right?
Yeah, big Kiss fan. And that when he used to come over to the house on Armitage when I lived on Armitage, and we had all the big gear in the front room and stuff and hung out together. And what else? And then just listening to some of the old tapes, and I scooped up the 7 original Sweet Daddy Jive shows that I did on Weave, and then I found a couple more. So now the 7 went to 9, and so I'm gonna make that a package deal for SoundCloud. I'm gonna draw a picture for that. I'm gonna set that up on SoundCloud. I'm doing a lot of SoundCloud because what's nice about it is that once it's up there, it's there. It's there for always. And I paid my $144 for the year, and it covers any and all situations. So I'm not any problems with anyone. So it's nice to have the freedom to
play whatever you want and keep it there.
To play whatever I want, express myself musically, be able to put up certain things. Like, of course, I'm going to be putting up the It's a Wonderful Week for Christmas. I can't wait for that. I found that again, Jeff.
Yeah. I lost that tape when I was going through when I had the box of all the cassettes that I gave to you. I didn't have a copy of that, so I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to it. I listened to it the other day. I won't spoil it for you, but yeah, it was genius, just like Batman and Jimmy Save Christmas. In fact, I even found 10 more CDs of Batman and Jimmy Save Christmas going through some of my stuff in the storage. So I'm just like, yeah, it'll be nice to give some of these away. That'll be a lot of fun. And so it's been kind of like just going through and kind of reliving a few things from the old Weave days. And
cool.
And of course, I played this earlier in the week. I played for you the thing that I found in the carts. I got a working cart machine now. Believe it or not, Jeff.
Oh God.
Yeah. So guess what? I found a number of of some of your carts there. I also found some of the double overtime footage. Just a number of different things. And in the That's a Wonderful Weave, we actually have the rant about you and the Packers in that episode. Oh, it was priceless.
Yes.
It was priceless. So
I checked this. Get this. Mike is right and I'm right. And the reason why we're both right is, so believe it or not, there was a sequel to Swamp Thing.
Oh, and Heather Locklear was in the sequel.
It was in the sequel, but yeah. Adrienne Barbeau is in the original. It's Adrienne Barbeau and some guy named Dick Durick that I've never heard of before until now. Ray Wise is in this. And apparently Carrie Wurr, of all people, was in this movie for some strange reason. And what I was not aware of is apparently this was directed by Wes Craven, of all people.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That would explain the R rating.
Huh?
Yeah, it's very, that's very surprising. So yeah, so apparently they did a second one called The Return of the Swamp Thing in '89, which is what I'm thinking about. And yes, Heather Locklear is in that particular
Yeah, she was at the
one.
top of her game back then.
Yeah,
Heather
this is
Locklear,
top,
yeah.
yeah, this
T.J.
is top of her
Hooker.
game, Heather Locklear.
Yeah.
T.J. Hooker.
So yeah, this is supposedly this is Heather Locklear. I have sex with Tommy Lee, and supposedly there's tapes out there of it, but we can't find them.
Yeah.
Well, young Heather Locklear, that'd be interesting. Otherwise,
Yeah, my friend Dave had a poster in his room of her just holding a towel.
Yeah, there's that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had that one at one point too. At some point, I think I had that as well. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, so we're both technically right. Apparently, the original. I didn't realize there were two movies. And
Yeah, I didn't know
apparently, get this, I didn't even realize this. USA Network in 1990 did a Swamp Thing series.
Yes, they did.
I must have blocked this out of my mind.
Yeah, it must have been about the same time CBS was running Beauty and the Beast.
I don't know. All I know is I was kind of shocked by. I just didn't realize that there had been that much done for that character. I mean, I knew there was the movie, but yeah, that's a little surprising. Like I said, I just
That's cool.
so yeah.
You got anything else, Ivan?
Well, other than just getting ready for this week's situations, like I said, like I'd mentioned, just going to get some things recorded for SoundCloud. Let's see. I think this Wednesday, the Wednesday that's coming up, I got the.
That's today. Well, at least the day this podcast drops. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, when the podcast drops, yeah, and that'll be. I'll be doing the Satchel Night over at Logan Arcade. And,
will that be
right
on
now,
SoundCloud?
It's going to be on. No, it's going to be on Twitch. I still do the Twitch thing. I still do the Twitch thing, and what's nice now is now that I got the reel-to-reel up and running, I can go ahead and record the Twitch, and then the soundtrack through the Twitch broadcast, I can now put on SoundCloud, and then that'll be fucking awesome, and I'll be real happy about that. So that takes care of a lot of that situation. And then just basically trying to get together, for Mixcloud. Busy working on a computer right now to try to get that up and running, sooner than later. I'm hoping to have it up and running by November. And just busy cutting and piecing together and kind of recreating Weep for the internet for the future. And so it's I'm real excited about that.
Cool.
Oh, so there's going to be Italian Rotten Theater?
No, I mean not going to include
not all the Weep. No, we're not going to put all that together.
No. I'm just talking about. I'm just talking about our shows. All of our things, all some nice things.
No Radio Fury.
Huh?
No Radio Fury. Radio Fury.
Radio Furious. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we used to call that. It makes me laugh. But yeah, and then I was watching Tony Napoli on Sunday. Poor guy. I felt bad because here it is. I guess he couldn't get online, so he was trying to do everything off of Facebook and everything. And me and Julie were watching on the Facebook as he was going through it. So I was kind of helping him through it from where I was at. Say, when you speak, just turn this radio down, and I'm commentating, trying to get him through it. And it was just like, man, He's probably the last holdout of any live programming at that station now.
I thought it went. Yeah, I guess it's still all Russian, right?
Most of it's Russian, and they still have a couple of Greek shows on there. They still have.
Oh, is they the Greek hours? Is this still weekday mornings?
Greek hours. They have the Greek hours.
The only Greek, I think, Greek language morning show.
Yeah,
in Chicago.
I believe that's
possible.
True. Yeah. Yep.
Do they still have the Assyrians that show up with the in the Volkswagen buses?
Now.
I know. Well, hey.
I know. I mean, I really got called racist. I really got called racist tonight for my little musical interlude when we were talking about it. Okay.
They look like Doc Brown stole their plutonium.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the best way to put it. I'm surprised.
Yeah, that didn't age well.
No, that didn't.
He's not gotten hit for that at all.
Yeah, I see Disney Plus put a couple more like warning messages in front of their animated films.
Yeah, I hear there's a big campaign to get Song of the South out of the vault.
Well, it's sure, why not? It's history, man. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true. And looking at the overview of the movie in of itself is not inherently racist. It's just the way it was perceived as such upon its release.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. We watched it in school. It's like one of those school days at the end of the year where the teachers just want to put something. They wheel out the TV from the AV room and they put it in a video cassette to keep us occupied for an hour or two. I watched Song of the South back in school. And that was the only time I'd seen it. Or it might have even been on a projector. Like a movie projector.
Really?
Well, I remember the movie projectors from the AV room. Remember they used to take us down to assembly, and
that was an awesome feeling. Like when the class would begin, and instead of the teacher going to the blackboard, teacher would grab the pull at the top and pull the projector screen down. And everyone's like, "Yeah, movie, yeah."
Right. Did anybody ever? Did any of the three of us ever put something on the screen? Like
everyone wanted to do their shadow bunnies, you know. Like
I mean, like put something like a poster or some weird shit or something.
No one put pictures that would fall off out of the reel. I never did.
I'll admit I never did one. I wanted to. There were a couple times I wanted to. I just never did it. Or like with the map where you pull it down and it's like there's the Playboy Bunny, that kind of stuff.
I remember one time we were doing a Christmas Carol. It was in grade school, and I was the guy responsible for putting up the pictures that we made. We had took marker. We made like houses and buildings and stuff, and. I'm busy going around back trying to keep them from falling down while everybody's reciting their lines and shit. I'm just like, oh my God. How did I get rooked into this shit?
No, absolutely. Well, I just kind of laugh because I wonder, I broke the radio. God. You can't, it's funny. As much as it's like big time radio, it has its feel to it. You just don't run into the crap that you run into when you did broker radio.
Right. It is a different animal than radio.
Entirely. I mean, anybody who knows about broker radio will recognize it when they watch episodes of WKRP, because that was like broker radio.
Close.
Yeah, almost, man. Close enough to it.
That one episode where there's the Reverend Little Earl, and he's selling the Dead Sea shower curtains.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now, that was half the programming I used to run on Sunday mornings when I first got into broadcasting.
People.
When I was a kid, I used to laugh at that line like it was like something fun. It was like, oh yeah, that's just a joke. And it's like, Then I started running that programming, and I swear to God, they all sound like that. They all are selling something weird like that.
God love you, buy my shit.
Yeah, buy my shit.
Exactly.
Buy my
God love you,
shit.
buy my shit. Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, like, I think we've talked about it before. There was the one guy who had the amazing voice with a little bit of echo behind it. And I remember the show being called Change Lives. And he would start, and he'd be like, and I'll just use it as an example, because this is not what he would say. But he's like, so you say you got herpes. And you got problems. And it's flaring up. Let's talk about that. And he always say, let's talk about that. And then he'll have like this spiel later about like some book you should get. If you sign up now, you get the free book. And it's like, I think the best one was,
let's talk about that.
I mean, obviously, I'm being facetious. He was talking about something a lot better than that. More God related. It's like I used to make jokes about something like that. It's like, so you say, you slammed your balls into a wall, and it hurts like hell. Let's talk about that. Some big stuff. The one so there were two, and I don't know, Ivan. I don't know if you ever had this guy. So one of them was, I can't remember what it was, literally there was somebody we were running that at one point, literally their pitch was, we need to buy a new building. And they're literally
you had like a fundraiser for a building?
Like, they're talking about, like, running out. I mean, they literally had, like, this ad that they would run, like, this promo ad they'd run, like, running out of room. And, like, one of people would be like, we need more parking. And I'm like, what? I'm not giving you my money because you need more parking? You're running out of room? You're probably got, like, a huge warehouse somewhere, someplace. It's like,
park on the street.
Or, like, I don't know. Here's the one I want to ask you about. Did you ever have that guy, the Overcomer?
The Overcomer?
Not the Undertaker.
The Overcomer? Not the Undertaker, the Overcomer.
No. No.
Was he on VVX?
Oh, no. He was on NBC for a while. And it was funny because when I was at Sporting News, we had him for a while in New York. And when we had him in New York, it was funny because I looked at my boss at the time. I'm like, can't believe you have this guy here. And he's like, why do you mean? He's like, you've heard of this guy? I'm like, oh yeah, he's a stitch. He's hysterical for all the wrong reasons. First of all, he's running his show on shortwave 24/7. Okay? So, like, you can pull it up at what's supposed to be the time for you to air, and it could be in the middle of a show.
Like in the middle of a monologue?
No, he can in the middle of his show, and then it'll end, and then the new show starts, and you end in the middle of his new show. And, like, the start of the show was like from I think he was like in like a bunker someplace or something like that. Like, he literally would talk about like a bunker, and he'd have this horn. It was like, like at the beginning. Like,
Gondor calls for aid.
Yeah, kind of. You're kind of not kidding. And he would get on there, and he would be like, and he has this raspy voice that was talking like this. I'm not doing it justice. It was a lot different here too. It
like a Lionel Stander kind of.
I can't do it justice. But he'd say some of the stuff that he would say was so funny. We used to record it and we would use it for drops.
It's right. I remember that now. Okay, yeah.
On other people's shows. I mean, that, I swear to God. And then one time, so he was complaining, he at one point he got on live on WNBC. He's like, this is a very costly station. This station costs a lot of money. You people need to start paying out. Found out later, apparently he's like some sort of, at least the last I heard, he was like having some sort of, he's in Tennessee somewhere in the middle of nowhere, but apparently he's like there was rumors of him with children and weird shit, which is like, Great. That's what I'm talking about all this. What does Jesus have to do with that? But okay.
Okay.
But if we get, I don't know if we could find. He's probably still out there. I bet if we Googled the Overcomer, we could find it. We could find a whole bunch of funny shit drops.
Oh my
God,
God,
this guy, I'm telling you,
that would be fucking nuts. Oh my God!
I swear to God, we used to sit around, because he would be on during the daytime at NDZ when I was working at WNDZ, and
there's something called overcomerministry.org.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
Overcomer. I think that's it.
That's him. That's the guy.
That's it.
Over the guy. All I know is you'll get a kick out of this, Ivan. Link didn't give a shit about anything. Link Burns.
Well, Link never gave a shit about nothing. Are you kidding?
Okay. Link would come in every so often because he wanted to hear what kind of fucked up shit this guy would say. Because it was funny. I swear to God, sometimes it was if it was in the middle of a shift change, and sometimes it was because of timing. We don't pass it around. All right, we gotta listen to see how fucking hilarious he is today. Because some of the stuff he'd say, you just sit there and this guy's.
Yeah, a lot of quotes here from the Bible on the front page, and.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that question. Yeah.
There's this one in bold font saying, "Jesus Christ is coming in your lifetime. This is the last generation, the last hour. Prepare to meet your God."
Yep. That sounds like
phone numbers to listen by phone. The numbers to listen by phone if you want to listen by phone. Jesus.
You can listen to Jesus by phone.
There's he says the claims that he's got shortwave, and he can cover the entire world from Bulgaria along with transmitters in Florida, Maine, and Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a real.
And here's the big donate button right on the page.
Of course he does. Of course he does. That's how it works. God. It's so funny because people sit there and say, "Why do you have such a bad impression of Christianity?" Because I worked broker radio and I heard all those
broker radio's a story.
That's all the shady fellas that are
all the shady fellas, man.
Jesus loves to spend your money now.
Remember the one gypsy show we used to cater to over at VVX, and they used to come in as an entourage. It'd be 20 people, and they're all reading the Bible.
You guys have talked about the gypsies, how you had to hide everything, so they otherwise.
I had them at SPC, and I'll never forget. I feel bad because it's people get mad because you can't say gypsy anymore. But yeah, so they would. But although they called themselves gypsies, which is weird. Yeah, it was funny. I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Isn't that where the phrase we got gypped? Is that where that comes from?
Yeah, that's where
that comes from. Technically,
that's where that comes from.
But yeah, so it was funny because I never officially worked that shift. I would work it for people, and I swear to God, it was hysterical because it was I'll never forget the first time because it was they're I got notes on what to do during the shift. There was one page for the entire shift. There were 3 pages for the gypsies. 3 pages about put this here, take this out here, do this here. And I practically had to pull everything out of the goddamn freaking.
You had to hide everything.
We had to hide everything.
And my first reaction the first time was I was like, how could it be that? And then they show up, and you're like,
wow. Get it now.
Holy moly!
Yeah, they came as a team, a group, man.
It's like a caravan.
A caravan, literally. We're talking 5, 6 cars.
And they're always late at night too. They're always at 11 or some weird shit like that. So it's they bring kids where it's they can't be they gotta be 5, 6, 7.
They're 5, 6, 7 years old.
And they're sitting there and you're on for 2-3 hours and you're shouldn't these kids be asleep? Or something like that? And it's no. And that's the part that's the most funny is that's the reason you gotta bolt everything down is all the kids are what's that? Can I touch that? No!
Leave those bugs alone. What does this do? Well, no, don't do that.
Well, and I made a mistake of leaving the door open because I'm trying to be nice. It was funny because it says in the thing, it's like, close the door. I'm like, oh, he's just a dick. And all of a sudden the kids are in there like, what's this do? What that? Dad, get out of here.
Is their opening theme the Cher song?
No.
Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves?
No.
Gypsy Tramps.
No, it wasn't.
That's bold, man.
Who was the ones we had like the old fart lady cat fight that almost happened?
Oh, you're talking about... Wait. I know what you're talking about. She had, like, this big deal show.
They were both
fancy cars, and I guess they had, like, this big showdown with this other show. And it looked like they were going to start pulling each other's wigs off and shit.
Yeah. There was a
old lady cat fight.
It was
crazy.
They were both, like, Germans.
Yes.
Neither one of them, like, both of them wore too much makeup, and, like...
Oh, my God, defy gravity.
And it was like the two of them wanted to go. I want to say one of them was like Ganella, maybe?
What? Say it again?
Ganella? Was that one?
Brunella.
And then the other one.
Yeah, I don't like granola. I don't like granola.
Yeah, I don't like granola.
Granola. Let's call
I don't like her. But yeah. And then I can't remember who the other one was. I can't remember her name, but it was funny because. Oh
my gosh, it was nuts.
I can't remember who the other one was, but at one point, because she came to NBZ for a while, and she was doing the show. And I still remember the other one because it was really funny because she's doing her show, and then she says she's going to play this CD. And I'm looking at her, and she's looking at me, she's like, play the CD. I'm like, I don't have the CD. She's like, yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. This is going on over the air. I don't have a mic open, but there's enough echo from the mics that she has open that they can hear me.
You're off mic, but you're here.
The headphones, and it goes on for like 3 minutes until the person she's with, she's like, why don't you just give a CD? Because you're doing this on air. Everybody can hear you. And I'm like, tired of laughter.
Somebody give somebody the CD.
Right, I was sitting there. She wants to fight with me. I'm like, you can fight with me all you want. I don't got it.
I remember that.
No, you don't, because you weren't there. This is when we were downtown. When I moved downtown.
No, you told me about it once.
I think I told you about it once. Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Just like what's his name? I did. In fairness, I liked Ollie. I liked the guy for Rumsky Dukat. He was a good guy, but I swear to God, that his wife just absolutely, like, she'd write out all this stuff and put all this stuff, and I'll never forget that time. I don't know if I've ever talked about this here. I'll never forget that time where he.
Ollie, didn't I sell that guy a keyboard once that we took out of?
He probably did.
It did.
So, yeah, I'll never forget, there's this one time I'm watching, he's reading this stuff, and he's reading, and he says something, and he's all proud of himself about something that he said. I can see the look on the wife's face, and after we go to the CD, she has this stack of papers in a folder that has to be the size of like a dictionary, and she takes it, and she's upside the head with it. Like she goes like over the top, like a steel chair, and I'm like, I couldn't stop laughing. I almost fell on the chair. It was so funny. So I'm like, and it's like they're looking at me. I'm like, I couldn't help it. It was just, oh my God. It was just like, you just sit there, you're like, holy shit. Yeah, did you ever have that on any of your shifts, Mike? Did you have crazy shit like that? Or
no.
Was it just like
no, I was just a Sunday guy.
Right.
I had only one live show during my shift, and that was Paul Ciminello.
Okay.
No, wait, he was on tape too. Oh no, my only live show was Giacomo. No, not Giacomo Tamburello. It was
Giacomo
Pat
Tamburello.
Capriati.
Pat Capriati. He kept having to play it week after week because he never changed.
Pat Capriati every live show in the afternoon.
Pat
Capriati, buona domenica con Domenica insieme. Yep.
Was there? Did he do da-da-da-da? Okay, is that? Okay.
Now, that was one of his. I think it was one of his promos where he had
one of his promo cards. Every time he would speak, then it would go da 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 da.
Not everyone, but it was just this one particular. I used it for It's a Wonderful Weave.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. Yeah.
I swear.
One time, well, I probably told the story before, but the one time Pat Capriati left his wallet in the studio.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So I had to meet him at the parking lot at Woodfield Mall because he had to go to a wedding.
Yeah.
So after my shift was over, I went home and he called me and we have to meet at halfway, which was the Woodfield Mall. And I had to give him his wallet, and he gave me like a bottle of champagne that he got for free at the wedding. That was my gift for I don't even remember if I even drank it.
Did I ever tell you, Ivan, about the last day that WNDZ was downtown when everybody was leaving?
I don't remember you did.
Oh, my God. Every single broker that I had brought like a bottle of alcohol. And insisted we drink it now.
Well, there you go.
By the end of you don't understand. By the end
of the day, you're close to being dead.
You're wasted.
Oh, yeah. I was like I was kind of sitting there and I'm like, the station could stay on a lot longer. It doesn't matter. It's daytime. What are they going to do? Fire me? I'm already leaving. Well, that's the weird part too. Is it was like this is how really weird that was all too. It was like, okay, I'm running a shift. It's my last shift here. We're gonna be gone.
Right.
And I'm laughing because I'm like, okay, you want me to lock up? There's nobody here. What do you want me to do with like the keys and stuff? You want me to just leave it here and shit? I'm like, okay. I mean, I could have, honestly, dude, I could have like had like a part. I can't remember because I think it might have been a Saturday night. I mean, I could have like invited like everybody downtown and been like, hey, party at the WNDZ. I got enough alcohol. Come on down.
Yeah.
Hey.
I got a board. We can do whatever the hell we want here. And hey, P.S. If we want to, I can rip right through the AM signal in Atlanta. We can go live.
Yeah, the AM signals travel a lot further at night. So
yeah, we can figure out a way to rip right through that AM signal that's down in Atlanta and see how that goes. But yeah, they gave me. I mean, I did walk away with like. I came home and I had like 3 bottles of alcohol. It was so funny. That's the leftover. That was leftover. Every time I turned around, somebody had a bottle of alcohol for me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be well lubricated today. Like, it was funny. People were like, can I do that? Shit, I don't care what you do today. As long as you end on time, I don't care. And I really don't care about that. Because, if you guys all want to run for time today, I don't care. Who cares? You'll get extra time at the end. Nobody's going to stop me. Who cares? I'm out of here. Because they were moving down to like by Midway, and so like they weren't bringing anybody with, and I was like, okay.
I was like, okay, thanks for nothing. See ya.
Yeah, that's giving your coworkers notice, and that just leaves the door open for sabotage.
Well, I mean, I have to say, I had the keys when we moved WEF 1430 when we moved it from Skokie Valley Road over to Northbrook. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, yes, I talked with Chris, and I was just like, what are they going to do with all the stuff that's in the old Weave studio? And he goes, you got a key? I go, yeah. And he goes, have at it. They're just going to throw it out. So that's how I ended up with the 2 original turntables and the amps that went to the turntables. I took out some wiring.
You pulled the wiring out of the walls?
No, I took the wiring that went to the
free wire.
That went to the amps and everything, and so then after I had done all that, then I was going to take one of the cart machines. I was going to take the board, but I just had too much shit in the car already. It's like, I'll come back another day.
Man, you had a lot of leftover. I mean, between what happened at NDZ.
because at NDZ I ended up taking that big great board out of the room. You know, took that home too.
Did you get the? I'm assuming the big cool Radio Shack board you did not get though.
No, I didn't get the Radio Shack board.
In the main studio.
No, but I did get the big gray board, the rotary board, the 8-channel rotary.
Yeah.
I got the 8-channel rotary. That's the one I sold to Ollie. I got 400 bones for that. And what else was there? Then I had taken the reel-to-reel recorders, both of them.
Yeah, and I presume Chip had already pawned everything else.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You know, so it's just that type of a thing. And you know, so and so that's just how that was. And then by the time I came back, they had already changed the lock. Like, oh shit, oh well. So much for that idea, and took it out at that. But yeah, it was you know, so yeah, it's part. And the thing about it was, this is all good equipment, and they were just going to shit can it. And I'm like, no.
Well, because they got nothing to do with it, and they got no place to put it.
This was the early 2000s. Everything was going digital.
Yeah,
it's true. Though because we had gotten out of the. I mean, let me see. I know that they had dismantled all the tape decks and everything, and I remember Ed, the engineer who was doing all the work at BBX, to turn it into a stereo signal. Mm-hmm. That was funny as hell. That's a whole nother conversation. But
yeah, that whole mess when they tried to do all that shit with VVX was hysterical. I still laugh to this day about the fact that if you knew you were going to fire me, why would you tell me so much information before you fired me?
Why would you leave all of the information on the computers wide open for the advertisers to see that you're faking them out?
Forget that.
Huh?
Before they fired me, they told me what their logo was going to look like.
Well, yeah.
They told me.
Uh-huh.
I remember I talked to my boss at the time at NDC, who was Tony Jacobs, who you know. And I said to him, I said, what do you want to know? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, they told me a lot of shit for somebody that they planned on shit canning.
Well,
he's like, you're kidding. He's like, you're kidding me. I'm like, no, I mean, honestly, I was really tempted to call Feeder. I was really tempted to call Feeder and be like, hey, here's everything else you need to know about the launch. Here's the scoop. Because I have it all. I really did. And I think I even had the launch date when they fired me, which was hysterical. How do you fire someone and let them have the launch date?
If that wasn't enough, you remember that cheap shit Kevin Q Harvey, you know? Yeah, that bastard. I ended up I haven't invited him to my house. He comes over with a 6-pack of Colt 45, he's so cool. And I'm like, I ain't drinking this shit. So, and he comes over and he listens to.
What do you think you were, Billy D. Williams?
I don't know. All I know is he comes into my house. He listens.
And you're like, how you doing there, Chewbacca?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm like, listen to all this music just to make great ideas for a format. And he's like, well, do this, Ivan. After about 2 hours, write it all down, bring it to the station. We'll upload it on the computer and we'll put your name on it. Yeah, I wrote it all up. They booted up on the computer, but it wasn't my name that went on it.
Nope.
Fucking bastard. You know, that still kills me to this day.
That thing died so quick, it was hysterical. I mean, Motown for white people. What?
Black
people. And they didn't even do a good job at it either. It's like...
No. What happened was, okay, they didn't figure in when they were going to do heart and soul, okay? Mm-hmm. The heart being all the, top 10, 20, 40, 100, white rock and roll, whatever music. They wanted to mix in with all of the soulful black rhythm and blues music. But me and rhythm and blues and black music, I run real thick in that particular vein. So I'm like, sending them with all of this heavy duty, stacks and volts and all this real heavy duty, Hold On, I'm Coming and Otis Redding and Sam and Dave and all this other heavy shit next to, the Supremes and the Marvelettes and the Four Tops and the Temptations and everything. And what happened was when they started bringing those little VW Beetles out, which that was the year they started releasing them again. And they were like naming each of the Beatles a name after, Motown artists. I mean, we had Bernadette, we had Smokey, we had all that.
That was funny too. I heard you telling me story. I remember you telling me that they basically let interns take those cars out all day.
Yeah.
And they let them. They were like, here, put out flyers all over the place. And from what I understand, is basically they just sit there and throw the flyers in the trash and go to the beach all day in the car.
Exactly.
And hang out at the beach and all kind of whatever the hell they wanted all week, all day, and then come back and be like, yeah, we handed it all out because nobody was paying attention. Nobody was checking them or anything.
No, because they had a bunch of dummies who were at the realm of the station. They had a program director that came from Canada that her only other show she did was a brokerage show in Canada, and they brought her in to be the program director. Then they got Harry Legg, the voice guy from J-Core, and that has its own set of stories. Then of course Kevin Q. Harvey, who came the fuck out of nowhere. And he stole everything that wasn't nailed down. If he gave it to him, he put his name on it. He stole the shit out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
And then after that situation, they were just like, well, after they got what they wanted out of me, it was just like, well, we have to get Ivan out of the way, so we'll send him over to 92.5 and 7 on the midnight shift. Still have him come here in the morning time. And by the time I got to the midnight shift, I had fallen asleep at the board. That's how they were able to fire me and get rid of me after they had stolen all the ideas from me, And it was just like, forget you. And then, of course, I talked to Chris and Howie, and they're like, oh, yeah, come back to We Fucked Them. Don't worry about it, and everything like that. But then what was crazy was that after Big Shitty Radio, Big City Radio took over, and then it was just like, oh yeah, we're giving up spots on the radio over here at WBBX. We need to keep the station afloat. How much? $25 an hour.
All right.
So me and
I did it too. I picked up.
You did it too. Yeah. So me and Robert Pankton got together. It ended up being Jivin and Maxwell Hammer. We did the Rock Suite for about 2, 3, 4 months. It was like we were paying peanuts.
Yeah, I remember. I remember you were doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I got right after Bear games. I was we watch the Bear game and get on the air right then. It was funny. I had friends because it was I had friends at the time because it was it was still in the 90s, so it was I had people I knew from high school that were like, did I hear you on the radio?
Yeah, it was 98, 99, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I was still at the WEEF on Sundays, yeah.
Yeah, no,
so it was craziness, man. I mean, we were just doing all kinds of nutty shit and everything like that in the radio station. I mean, me and Robert, we go ahead and we would just do the shows down at WEEF. We record them ahead of time. Mm-hmm. We did the 10-inch reels ahead of time. I mean, our shows had titles like Colors, songs about colors, animals, songs about animals. We're doing all this theme shit and we're recording all this stuff. I mean, we're getting high, and then we're bringing the reels over to WEEF and everything. To VVX. We'd set up the big reel-to-reels, and then we're sitting in the car and we're busy tripping while listening to the stupid shows outside in the parking lot and everything like that. And of course, here comes Jerome, and he's got his face pressed up against the window. He scared the living shit out of us. This is the news part of the story, and it's just what are you guys doing? and then Robert goes, none of your fucking business. Get lost.
Yeah, that's nicer than what I would have said. It's shit, aren't you supposed to be at Timbers?
Well, that's where he was most of the time. I mean, if he wasn't...
No one was there to buy many drinks.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one time I entrusted him with a blues show, a cassette. All he had to do was put the cassette in and play it. Okay.
Remember, you told me this story about how.
I did. Yeah. So I'm listening on the radio through the somewhat static, but I can still hear it. I'm like, why is this not sounding right? So I jumped in the fucking car and I drove all the way from Chicago all the way to Highland Park, in the evening. And I walk in, studio's dark, everything's shut down, and the tape is garbling. Wow, 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 wow. I'm like, so I stopped the tape, and then I fixed the tape, and I got it to sound the way it was supposed to sound. And I just sat there and I waited. And I thought Jerome was going to shit his pants because he had no idea.
You're a lot nicer than I would have. I hate to tell you what I would have done.
Oh no, I wanted to cut his balls off, but he was such a never do well. I just didn't want to, I mean, kicking his ass would have been too easy. So it was just like
I would have locked him out.
I would have loved to have done that, but then at the same time, if something would have happened to the other broker shows and shit, yeah, then he would have threw me under the bus. I know him.
Well, but you didn't have to be there. You could have just fixed it, walked out, locked the door, and he would have known.
Yeah, I remember one time at the Weave Studios, you and I were hanging out, and we were in. This was after hours. This was it was after dark, and a cop wandered in.
Yeah,
remember that?
I remember
he
that.
just thought something was going on here. Like this is like an office that shouldn't be open this hour. So
right,
he just wandered in.
That. And he was looking around, too. He was looking hard.
Yeah, I was like, we're just hanging out. I mean, this is a radio station. We're just hanging out, playing music.
And I don't think he believed either one of us, did he?
No, he didn't have anything on us. I mean, we were employees of the station, and we're just hanging out here.
We were just hanging out doing production and shit, and it was just like, and he just kept looking at us like
nothing else to do. Yeah, we're not gonna light up a doobie as soon as you leave. I mean,
no, we're not gonna smoke any weed. We don't got any alcohol. We don't have any women in the jock lounge or nothing like that. You can leave now. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Like I said, I just
crazy misadventures.
Yeah,
but they were great though. They were ours, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why I laugh because it's like sometimes I'm like, don't get me wrong. I mean. It was nice to work some of the stuff where it was legit stuff, but at the same time, some of the best fucking stories. I mean, I laugh because, it's funny because it was funny. I was talking to Sinatra about this and he's got this idea for about, because he talks about how back in the day when the sport first started that, they were in these dinky stations. And meanwhile, at the WSBC studios, there was a Russian guy going, "I got so much leg room, it's wonderful." And he had this idea for a movie or something having to do with a broker radio thing. I laugh because I'm like, dude, you don't even know the half of broker radio. You don't even know the half of it.
Wasn't there I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but wasn't there a guy that worked at NDZ that he kind of had an allure about him? He used to work he came in, he was wearing a trench coat, he had a expression on his face got out of bed. I mean, he came in and he did a show, and then he talked about doing a movie, and then he wanted to he wanted me to do the soundtrack, and that he had all.
I remember this.
Yeah. What it was this guy. He kind of talked like this, and Ivan, it would be really cool if we could and he had this smell about him, man. It made me dizzy, and and he just talked about it, and I'm just half listening because I'm trying to pay attention to what I was doing at the station, and he just kept talking about it. This would make a great movie. No, I think it should be a play. Oh, this could be Broadway stuff about local radio. Oh my God!
On Broadway.
Yeah, and so I'm just looking at him with the bird.
There is some stuff I swear to God, I could, you really could do a pretty good. You probably could do a pretty good TV show or a movie or something like that with this stuff. Just the concept of Ifti Nassim all by itself.
Yeah,
would work. Which is this guy who was this Indian gentleman, nice guy, wearing fur coats, dressed like Elvis.
Nice.
And would cross dress and loved Elvis. And,
So, are you talking about the Indian guy who like bought all this time and used to bring all of these cassettes, all these Elvis cassettes and stuff, and like sing badly over the Elvis cassettes? Oh my God!
That guy.
I remember you told me about this guy.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if you're aware. So fast forward a few years later, he's at SBC.
Wow.
And I'm running this board, and he walks in. I'm like, "Oh my God, Ifty!" He's like, "Hey!" And then I think I've told this story before, which is he lived in my aunt's building.
Yeah, I remember you caught him in the elevator or something.
Yes, you did. I remember you telling us that. Yeah.
We're leaving to go home, and the elevator opens, and he's going, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's dressed up in his fur and all this stuff, and it was really funny because my entire family is looking at me like,
"How do you know this guy?
You know that guy?
You know this guy? Who is this guy?
You got some explaining to do." And I'm like, I've run his radio show, you know. So yeah, no.
Oh my God, I remember that show. Oh my God, that was horrendous. That was like the worst half hour.
He got better later on.
Yeah, he wasn't good. He wasn't good when he was there, boy.
But
I remember about it. Yeah.
I still remember the time. I still remember the one time when you were running the lesbian, gay, transgender morning show thing, and the owner pissed you off. So you played the Marines PSA in the middle of his show.
Don't ask, don't tell.
And right in the height of all that shit going on too. And like you played it, and I was sitting there going, "Something bad's gonna happen." And I'll never forget because I'm sitting there and I hear this and I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna go badly." At the same time, I'm trying not to laugh at the same time. I have two reactions with you. This is gonna go badly, and I'm trying not to die of laughter. Because I'm like, I can't remember why you did it, but you had a rationalization for it. It was good, too. You weren't wrong. He was being a dick that day for some strange reason.
Yeah.
And in fairness, I can say this because later on, I can say this later on because I used to run the show regularly. In fairness, Alan was a good guy. Alan really was a good guy.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. I can tell you this from later on. The only thing that was interesting was... And this was always the part I laughed about was I was doing this morning show, and I was kicking ass on that show, and I was doing all the production work and all that stuff like that. And, like, I go talk to other radio stations, and it's like, well, show us your reel. And I'm like, because, again, this is the, you know, we're talking late 90s. Okay.
Right.
It's you know, it's not a bad thing, but it's one of those where it's like, you know, why is everything on here like a gay thing? It's like, well, no, I'm not gay. Right. And you're like, no, I'm not. It's like, no, I'm not gay. I worked on this show. That's just, they paid me. What do you want me to do? And it's not a bad thing. I have no problem with it. It just was really weird because at the time it was funny because I talked about that with a couple of the people who run the show. I'm like, how am I gonna? It's like there's certain things where it's like there's a really good production work. I can't send this reel out unless I'm going to San Francisco. I can't send this reel to anybody because it's like. And again, today, like I talk about this. Like I've tried talking about this as like a speech topic. And everybody's like, you can't say some of those things. It's very, I'm like, but this is what it was like at that time.
This was how things were back then.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand that now it's different.
Yeah.
But back then,
not so much.
Even in the late 90s, yeah, it's like, if I had sent around a demo reel with, you know, a whole bunch of stuff from like gay bars and gay, you know, the lesbian gay morning show.
You had to record spots for gay bars.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
knocking on those, just saying it was part of what I had to do.
Oh, I don't think, Mike, you understand. At one point, I wasn't just hired by NBZ. Les by Gay Radio was paying me
off to the side.
Right, little side jobs.
Hours
right.
To do
a little
hours.
side hustle going.
And basically,
I remember that. I remember that side hustle.
Well, it wasn't a side hustle. It was they were legitimately paying me.
No, they were paying you.
Were they cutting you checks, or were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Right. No, it was great, and they covered my parking.
And they validated my parking.
Well,
wow.
Okay, downtown parking at the
time.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's murder, man. $20 of shit.
Well, and it was interesting because at the time where I was parking on State, if you got there early enough in the day in the morning when it was like 5 a.m., you could get away with getting $10 for the day and staying there all day on that rate. And so it was interesting because I think he was covering $8 for my parking. So on those days when I paid for for those days, it was it practically paid off. And then I was getting, like I said, it was always on days when I had to work. So I was already downtown. If anything, it was, okay, now I got to go kill time. So I go hang around downtown. I walk around downtown. I go hang out. I do a few things. I get some lunch, that kind of shit. And then I come back and I do the stuff for the radio. Or I'd come back a little bit early and I would be working on, I'd work on stuff for the sports show if I could. And then, if they were ready, when they were ready to go. But yeah, there were days I wasn't coming home until, I started out my day at 5 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't come back till 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
Because I was down there all day doing other stuff,
doing production work and whatnot,
doing the production work,
yeah.
and picking up extra hours and picking up extra money that way. And the amusing part was because that studio was technically not, was sort of live but not really. I was basically using the main production studio at NDZ to do all the production work. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because they, and the funny part was, the guys at NBC approved it, and I'm like, okay, great, I've got no problem with it. So yeah, I was producing. Oh man, I got the education. I totally got the education. I drag queens.
You were immersed in
gay
it.
bars, all kind. I knew more about HIV and AIDS research.
The whole Chicago scene.
The whole scene, yeah.
I knew quite a bit. I mean, I knew quite a few of the major gay drag queens because they would bring them in. It was funny because they'd come in without makeup because it's radio.
Yeah, you
so
don't need to.
It's funny because and then they'd show me pictures of what they look like, and I'm like, holy cow, that's really. I mean, it was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at one point, if anything, the only thing that was interesting, and it was funny. And Ivan will get a kick out of this. They wouldn't. All the staff would be wouldn't mind having me on the radio because they liked because I added stuff to the show. Alan, who was the owner, was always like, no, and no. And the reason was he's straight.
And
I understand. I get it, but it was really funny because all of the on-air talent was like, that's bullshit. That's the same thing we
That's reverse
about.
Discrimination.
Right. And it was funny because they were all on board. They were all like, that's reverse discrimination.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing it. And it was funny because they all lined up. And I was impressed. I was like, wow. But at the end of the day, he pays the bills. Although it was funny because he did put me on that day. I think I've told this story where it was at the time Ellen had her
Ellen came
TV
out.
show.
Yeah,
the Ellen comedy show, not the
comedy.
The half hour.
Yeah,
half hour.
Not the talk.
Not the talk show. Yeah, the comedy.
Right. He goes
the sitcom.
on. So Alan Amber goes on this 20-minute diatribe about why it's important to listen to the show and blah, blah, blah. We need to support it, and the ratings aren't where it needs to be, and blah, blah, blah. And in the meantime, he's blown through like 3 commercial breaks.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't give a shit, except for the part where he's the first person to bitch when we blow through 3 commercial breaks because he's the owner. And there he is going on a little diatribe, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is going to be the longest commercial break I've ever fucking seen.
Right.
Okay? Because we got, like, okay, you blew through the first break. That was a 1 minute. That's like a 2-minute break. Here's another 2-minute break. Oh, good. We're going to be on like a 6-minute commercial break here in a minute. And I think I had to air like some spot for NBZ or PSA, and I was like, I have like a 7-minute commercial break. So fine, because I'm annoyed as hell because I'm like, okay, we're going to do like a 7-minute commercial break because you couldn't fucking shut up. And you're diatribing about this thing, and you're going on and on and on and on and on. And it was funny as we get into the break. I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, because it's not funny. And he's like, what? He's like, what? It's not funny. I've seen the show. It's not funny. She's not funny. This show is not funny. You know what's funny on that show? Jeremy Piven. He's funny. I said, let me tell you something else. If Ellen looked like Heather Locklear, that show would have ratings like Gonzo. Every man in America watched that show.
Wow.
I don't know what possessed me to say this out loud. I was just in a shitty mood because he blew through every break. And there's silence for a minute, and then he says to me, he goes, you're going to say that on air. What? I want you to talk about that on air, what you just said. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I am not. I am not going to hang myself out there to dry. Every freaking gay person on the planet is going to, like, want to hunt me down for this shit. Are you crazy?
So ultimately you did say it on air.
Oh, I did, and the best part is I have to screen the calls.
Right, so you're the first person they talk to.
Exactly, and I'm like, okay, you need to calm down before I can even put you on the air. I mean, nothing happened, thank God, but I'm like, there were a couple days after that where I was like looking out both sides of the door before I like left out of the building. Because I was like, somebody, here comes like somebody.
You were going to get impaled by a rainbow javelin?
Or something like that, yeah.
Somebody with a rainbow unicorn was going to come after you, chase you down the street.
Oh my God, yeah. I was like, I mean, there was a part of me where I'm like sitting there, I'm like, it's not like they don't know where the studios are or anything like that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think I wanted to say that out loud. Okay. The one time I wanted to say something, it was funny. The only other time I got on air was, actually I shouldn't say that. They had me do one segment because somebody didn't show up and they had me on and it pissed them off. But the one that really kind of annoyed him was I had gone to one of my friend's bachelor parties the night before. And when we got done, I essentially, instead of going home, I went downtown, parked, went into the building, set an alarm clock, brought it like an alarm clock with me and set it, and slept overnight there, which meant I didn't get much sleep. So that particular morning, for some strange reason, ironically, is the morning we had 2 lesbians doing the morning show.
Oh, I remember this story, but go ahead.
They had 2 lesbians, and they're like, you look, and it's funny because Alan's not there, so they can get away whatever they want with. And they decided they both want to include me in the show. And they're like, our producer and board operator, Jeff Stein, he looks like hell. What happened to you? I'm like, and they're like, no, pick up the mic. I'm like, well, I was at a bachelor party last night. Really? Yeah, really. Oh my God, really? What was that? And they're like, I'm like, what kind of thing? I'm like, well, we had we went to one place and then we had strippers, and you're like, we've never been, and then we're both like, we've never been to a strip club. I'm like, oh, you know what? Really? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, that's really something. You guys should go sometime. They're like, oh, well, you've never been. I'm like, well, maybe we should go, like the 3 of us or something. They're like, oh, that sounds like fun. And I would joke, and I'm joking like, yeah, we should take all the listeners with too. We could have like a whole. It's like the lesbians in the straight board op. We could do that. And like all of a sudden, the phone lines start lighting up. Like all the lesbians are like, "This sounds like fun. We should go." And I'm like sitting
field
here
trip with Jeff and the lesbians.
And I'm like, exactly. And I'm like sitting here thinking about this, going, "This could be a lot of fun." And then the hotline starts ringing, and I know who's on it. It's Alan going, "You need to stop talking about this shit." And I'm like, "You are ruining my life right now. You're ruining every straight guy's dream." And that was the other thing, by the way, that was annoying as fuck. Okay? Was they always like to play this game where there would be some woman who would be there, and I'd assume that she was gay, and we're talking and she's flirting with me, and I just figure she's gay and we're flirting back and forth, no big deal. And then after she's
after
gone,
they leave, then you were like,
she's gone, they tell me she's straight.
Yep.
And I'm like, you guys gotta stop this shit. This is not funny.
I remember that. Oh, you were so pissed.
It didn't happen once. It didn't happen just once. It happened like 5 times. They
I know.
Like all the time. And I'm like, the worst was.
Oh my God. You were so bad.
Well, the worst was, there's one morning on Friday morning, they brought in these people to do poetry readings, and there's this one girl, and she's kind of hot and like that librarian kind of mousy kind of thing.
Ooh, nice. With the glasses?
Yeah, with the glasses.
And the hair like up in a bun?
Well, not in the bun, but like the black kind of
Does
hair.
she look like Bailey of WKRP?
Yeah,
I used to.
No, a little more.
I'm brunette. I'm a brunette guy, so.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, she starts reading this E. Cummings poetry. And I'm just like dying. I'm like just sitting there.
Coming and going.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really glad there's a board.
Yeah, there's a control board under my lap here.
There's a control board, and nobody can see anything. Because I'm like literally like.
You're throwing the switch.
And she's got
pitching a tent.
And she's got that voice. She's got that voice that like. You're like, oh my
I need
God.
I need to go to the bathroom for 3 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
and I'm like, when she was done, I'm like, Jesus, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I need one like now. Holy shit. And of course, I'm like, well, she's got to be gay. After she leaves, they're like, yeah. If the gay guy, the one gay guy, this guy who's also named Jeff, it's like, yeah. And I don't know how it came out that she's straight. And I'm like, dude. And he's like, what? I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, you need to, why didn't you say anything? He's like, why? I'm not interested. Like, it's not
about
really?
you.
Really? And he like looks at me, he's like, and he's still like, what? And then after a while, he gets it, he starts laughing. I'm like, this is not funny. Not funny. The best is he's laughing as hard as Ivan is. He's like, actually, it's kind of hilarious. I'm like, yes, but it's not funny right now for me. Damn it. You guys gotta stop this shit. And it was funny because it was like the 5th time it had been done to me. Like, you guys gotta stop this shit. You all gotta tell me when they're not gay. And he started laughing. I was like, this is the 5th time you guys have walked off this thing. Couldn't stop laughing. I'm like,
we used to have the best fucking times over at BBX and fucking Leaf, man.
Oh my God.
Those are the best, man.
No. In fairness, I laugh because as much as Alan was a pain in the ass, when they moved to SBC, he tried to get me hired over there.
Yeah.
Permanently as their board operator.
Yep.
As their producer and their board operator. He literally was like, this guy sucks, bring in Stein.
Would that have been full time?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been
with benefits. With benefits.
Oh, no.
But
no.
I gotta be honest.
What happened?
What happened? They didn't want to hire me at the time because here's the irony. A couple years later, I ended up working for him anyway. Because ironically, somebody I knew got hired as the op director, and then they hired me. Which was funny because 2 years earlier, they hadn't hired me for that. But it was funny because the guy that they hired he and I would talk, and it was funny because I was like, yeah, technically I was up for your job. And he laughed. He goes, yeah, I was aware that you were up for my job. I'm like, okay. But it was funny because by that point they were gone. But yeah, it was funny because I feel bad. I don't want to be like a really, really bad. I don't really want to say this, but I feel like with WSBC, it's like, how do I say this nicely? It's where board ops go to die. It's where board ops go to die. And when I say that, it's like they have, how do I put this? I mean, they have things that, like, in broadcast, like, for when we were doing radio, Ivan, they had stuff you would sit there and you'd be like, what? Like, they had vacation days.
What now?
They had vacation days. Like, the guys on a regular shift during the week, like, who worked, like, 35 hours, had, like, vacation days.
Right.
Well, 35 hours is could be technically full-time.
Right, and they had health care, and they had 401k. I mean, they were getting paid at the time. I want to say they were getting paid at least $15 an hour.
I believe that to be true. Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about that SBC though. I mean,
yeah, I'm talking about SBC. Yeah, because that was, I mean, SBC. You know, I mean, SBC. That was when wasn't that? You know, we're talking about the transmitter site over there on Belmont Avenue, off of.
Right. Well, yeah. Like I said, and it's like I said, I just kind of found it funny. I mean I still have friends. I still have friends who work over there, and but it's like, man, they've been like, they're guys who have been there. Like, I have a buddy of mine who still technically works there. He's been there since I left in 2007. I mean, he had just started when I had started there in 2000. I want to say 2001 or 2002, and he's still there now, working full time. And I'm like, wow. I mean,
I know
nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I know XRT runs out of that same building too.
No,
if he was happy with what he's doing, then good on him.
No, XRT works out of downtown now.
Oh, they moved out of that building. What is that building now? Nothing more than just a refractor post now?
No, I think. Don't quote me on it.
Because I mean, I passed it and it's all closed up. There's shades are all down.
Somewhere over there, and I don't know exactly where it is, and I haven't gone by to visit because I just really haven't. But somewhere over there is where they put what do you call it? 820. The liberal station. I can't remember the call letters right now.
820.
Which ironic. Yeah, CPT. That I think that's over there. And the irony is, CPT is the program the operations manager for CPT is my former boss from Sporting News.
Well, wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. CPT is housed in a building on Milwaukee Avenue with 3 other stations. Because that's
probably it then. Then that's the other.
Yeah.
Station.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one.
SBC and all that stuff. That's where they all are. So yeah. But yeah. Anyway. By the way, Mike. By the way, we didn't get to what Mike. Mike, did you do anything this week?
90 minutes into the show. Hey, Mike. Yes. Hey, how was my week, guys?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I didn't do anything.
I know how I feel.
No, I'm just kidding. I just had a game night, and that was fun. We played Arkham Horror because it's Halloween. Well, I said, we have a game night scheduled for Halloween night. We could have saved it for that. But my friend was like, I didn't want to lug it all the way over to your house because game night's at my place tonight. Okay, so we played Arkham Horror. That was fun. And in a rare instance, we won because that's a difficult game to win. But it's fun to play, but it's hard to beat. But that was
so what's
fun.
The objective of Arkham Horror? Because I've heard of it, but I don't think I've played it.
There's you're going around this town, and you travel from place to place, and there are portals opening up and monsters coming out. Defeat the monsters and close the portals before the main baddie comes out. because as more monsters arrive on the board, the terror level increases on the town, and as that happens, places like close down where you can't get supplies and items and such.
Mm-hmm.
But you have your stamina and your sanity. I mean, your stamina, obviously, when you beat up, and your sanity is like when you see something like so horrifying, you lose your sanity.
Like a Cthulhu thing, got it.
Right, exactly. No, it was fun though. We won, and then we had afterward. We play like a little if we have time afterward, which we did because we beat the game. Like yay! Found my old Spellfire cards. So
oh wow!
I built a deck, and mine was mixed because some of it was Forgotten Realms, some of it was Greyhawk, some was Dark Suns. Mm-hmm. But I put a deck together, and I'd forgotten that. Couple of the rules, like you can't put like a holding. The holdings and the realms have to match, and the artifacts have to match the champions you attach them to. But anyway, in a rare instance, we played the Spellfire game because I'd found the cards and I won. And it's just proof that my friend that we usually play with, he just does not enjoy playing competitive games. It's usually us versus the main bad guy in the game. So it's player versus player, he's a bit of a sore loser.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, yeah, we get over it. I mean, that's just how he is. Like the games that we usually play are cooperative, and we just happen to have this one. And this one guy's he's kind of he gets a little grumpy. If you know what I mean.
You know what? I totally get it.
I know this guy. Hold on.
I have friends of mine who are very, very avid gamers.
Yeah, it's not Steve, though.
I have some friends who are really, really avid gamers that I have gotten to the point where it's like, you know what? I don't feel like playing competitive games with you people because it's not fun. And so I get it because it's like, okay, I'd just rather play a cooperative game so I don't have to worry about this. And every so often I will play competitive gaming. I don't mind. It's one of the reasons I like role-playing better than I like board games these days is it is a little bit more cooperative in some level. But it's funny because if you are looking for something a little bit on the competitive side, especially this being this time of year, I don't know if you've heard of a game from Twilight Creations called Zombies. So Zombies is kind of almost what you would think of it, which is they give you, and they have multiple expansions that you can buy, but they give you a whole package of zombies, and essentially what happens is you start putting tiles down to create this town, and they keep putting zombies everywhere. And the players get, I can't remember how it works. It's almost like playing a video game because it's like you get a certain amount of shots and you get a certain amount of lives, and there are ways to expand that, but you get the idea. It's almost like you're playing a video game. And the objective is you either need to kill 25 zombies or whenever the helipad gets out there, you need to get on the helipad and escape. The problem is, depending on how you shuffled the tiles, you don't know where the helipad is.
So you it's a fight to see who can get to the helipad?
Right, unless somebody's killed a whole crap load of zombies.
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of cards. There's a whole bunch of cards where you can, like, dump zombies on people there. And then, that kind of stuff. I mean, you get the idea.
Yeah,
It's a fun game. Again, very competitive. Mm-hmm. But, again, since it's Halloween, I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, we got a game night. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And again, Twilight Creations is the creator.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I'm going to look it up. We have a game night scheduled for Halloween. I'm not sure if we're going to get together that night because my friend Steve, he's got a kid, so I don't know if they're going to be doing any trick-or-treating. I know trick-or-treating is open in some places and closed in others, but and I bought a pumpkin because I do my annual. I just carve it and then I just eat the seeds which is the main function as to why I open the pumpkin because I want seeds. And carving is like incidental to the activity of baking the seeds and eating them. The one time a year I do eat pumpkin seeds. What else? Oh yeah, I found this. I got out of work a little early today, so I went to Walgreens and I found this Vincent figure from Entertainment Earth. So, like, yeah, that was cool. It's like I'd seen pre-orders for it, like, late last year, early this year, and I'm like, nah, they want to pay, like, $30 for it. And I'm like, nah. But I found it at retail today. So I'm like, yay, cool. I'm going to open it soon, probably as soon as we're done recording. So, like, I was like, this toy's about 40 years too late. And, like,
yeah, Vincent,
awesome.
Vincent, by the way, Vincent being
from the movie
droid,
The Black Hole, yeah.
The Black Hole, yeah.
Voiced by Roddy McDowall.
Was he really? Okay.
Yeah. What else? And I also found the little, it's almost like a Micro Machines kind of thing, but it's like a 3-pack of, they've done other ones like for Fast and Furious, Back to the Future, G.I. Joe, but they did one of the 3 vehicles from the classic 66 Batman series. Like, they're like about an inch long, and there's like a 3-pack for like $6. They have one of the Batmobile, the Batcycle, and the Joker Mobile. I think it only appeared in like one episode of the old Adam West Batman series. So I found that. That was cool. And I'm looking forward to going to the Kane County show. We'll see how they handle the social distancing and all that. But I presume some of the buildings are open air, so they're just going to have it open. So with less tables set up. And there might be restrictions on attendance, max attendance in some buildings, so there might be a line. As people leave, they can go in, like how they're doing at the Walmart. Because they closed, that sucker got closed down, like, as soon as, like, when the Rona hit, right after St. Patrick's Day, like, Pritzker shut down the one that's usually in April, so we didn't get to go to that one. No one. And so this one is coming this Sunday, the 25th. I'm going to be there, and hopefully it'll be good. But with less dealers, it means it'll be a buyer's market, which means it might be harder to find some goodies. But we'll see. What else?
Well, I saw something that
the very thing you're looking for, like that thing you got from the black hole. I mean, what was that about today? I read on Facebook.
Well, I saw something I know you're going to want.
What?
I put it on the Squares page.
Oh, the My Little Pony Optimus Prime? Yeah.
The My Little Pony Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, and it's based on the old, but it doesn't have the soft hair. I mean, because like,
hold on, I'm looking at.
I think it's just molded, like a one piece kind of molded. I don't even know if the head moves.
It's $15. So it says it's $15.
Yeah. And it's just like a My Little Pony colored like Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it says it's inspired by the Transformers War Cybertron Optimus Prime character. It's 4.5 inch and comes in a collector's package that's great for fans of My Little Pony or the Transformers brand display.
Yeah.
Turn the stories you know of their tales with the My Little Pony crossover collection.
Yeah, because Hasbro's doing all those crossovers now. It's like a friend of mine he works for the CTA and he does like signage for the CTA. He's a big brony. And he got this 7-pack of Dungeons and Dragons characters as ponies, like a fighter or an elf or a ranger. They're all like ponies dressed as like D&D characters. which reminds me, I've been looking at HasLab as doing a fundraiser or whatever, a crowdfunder to bring back HeroQuest, and I think I might be in on it. It's only $100 to start. And they've already beaten a couple of the stretch goals. But in order to acquire the stretch goals, you have to get the bonus upgrade, which is like $150. But the base set, the regular box set, is only $100, and I might be in on that. Because HeroQuest, I mean, we, back in the 90s, my friends and I, we all played Advanced HeroQuest. And this is regular HeroQuest was all like just one board. I think it might have been like Milton Bradley distributed before Games Workshop had a presence in the United States. Like Games Workshop licensed it to MB, and then that's how it came over here in the States.
Might have.
Yeah, but anyway, so I might be in on that. But yeah, that Zombies game, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of cool. What's the other one that's? I want to say there's something called House on the Hill or Haunted Manor. I don't remember what it's called. There's another like more creepy kind of board game that way. Let's see.
Yeah, you guys you have any game nights scheduled around Halloween? I mean, you guys have like a Do like a Halloween themed event?
You know what? I don't think we're doing anything. I think the next time we're doing gaming looks like it'll be that second Saturday in November.
Oh,
and
November.
then there is a convention that we're doing, and they may have board gaming for it too. Thanksgiving weekend, it's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Isn't that always like that Pop Culture Con that was at, used to be at, what was the name of it? Pheasant Run. They usually had like a convention going on like the weekend of Thanksgiving down there. But of course, the hotel's gone now, so the resort.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be that, but yeah, I mean, this group's been doing a game weekend like that for, probably a couple decades now. So yeah, like I said, it's gonna be, 3 days of getting some gaming in. So it should be kind of fun. But trying to see if there's I guess before we go,
we can skim through the news if we have any newsworthy events.
I think this sounded interesting. So apparently, Paramount sold the rights to Coming to America 2 to Amazon, and it's going to stream. The expected premiere stream date is going to be December 18th, apparently on Amazon.
Ooh, interesting.
And that's interesting. And I wonder if we're going to start seeing some of these studios who can't afford, who are like holding on to some of these movies, might not consider doing stuff like that in the future. Which is, okay, we can't release this. We don't have a streaming service. Can we sell it to somebody who does to put that together and make that work? I don't know. I just think it's, it'll be interesting.
Well, that's the way things are right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm going. I made an arrangement with a couple of friends of mine, so I am going to see Kevin Smith at the McHenry Outdoor on November 1st.
Oh, are you? Okay.
But the thing is like, I miss going to the movies with friends. I miss doing all those superhero films with my buds, and I could really miss that, unfortunately. But yeah, Coming to America 2, I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I forget that it was in the can. It's been in the can for months, since before the Rona hit, I think.
So it's going to be interesting, like I said, because, this is an example of, okay, if you don't have Amazon Prime now, are you willing to go get it now to pick this up, and how many, will this be a boon to where, here's some content as a loss leader for Amazon? Sure, go ahead, buy it, and see if we can get some more people to buy into Prime than who haven't already, because, okay, it's just like I don't know how much you guys have seen the commercials for that new Borat movie that's coming out that looks interesting.
No, I haven't seen any of that. I know that all I know is from Amazon Prime is that they got the Boys, and a couple of my friends are watching The Boys season 2, and from what I've seen, it just seems like a little too gory, too dark for me. So
and they've got the Marvelous Maisel as well is supposed to be very, very good as well. So
I also saw that on Netflix. They have the Chicago 7 running. I think I'm going to give that a preview.
I'm going to have to get Netflix at some point. I would like to see that. That's the new.
Yeah, I had family members who saw that. They said it was good.
Yeah, I want to see the Chicago 7, and then there's a Pixar style type animation called Moon Goddess, which is making the rounds as well on HBO Max, which I just recently got HBO Max for my phone, so I'll be able to get into some other things. I also got Tubi on my phone now, and as well as I got the Netflix actually on the phone here, so that's how I got wind of it.
Ivan go! Oh my God!
And what else is there? I saw on Netflix though last night. I saw a really good documentary on Frank Sinatra. Have you guys seen it yet?
Nope.
Jeff, Mike, this is right up your guys' alley. I mean, just very, very cleverly done. A lot of good clips, a lot of good interviews. They had a recently discovered interview with Walter Cronkite while interviewing Frank Sinatra. They followed his retirement video that he did, presentation he did in 1971. He said he wanted to go out in his retirement show in 1971 with 11 songs that pretty much talked about his life, and they built the documentary around the 11 songs in that show. It's very well done. Okay. So if you get a chance to see it on Netflix, yes, it's called Sinatra. You'll love it. It's a two-parter.
Who's in it?
Huh?
I'm just kidding.
Nice.
But I'll look into it. Yeah, I have access to it.
It's 4 hours long. It's split up into 2 episodes. I watched the whole thing in one fall sit. I couldn't put it down. Put
your TV down. It's too heavy.
You know who's in it, Mike? Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett's in it.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right, I'll check that out.
Yeah, they talked about his marriages to his first wife, and then later on to Ava Gardner, and then later on to Mia Farrow. They went into all of that. They went into his ties to politics, his ties that got him the reputation that he himself did not acquire, which I found out, and also a lot of the inside track that was going on during the Camelot years. For those of you who aren't familiar with that reference, yes, during the years of Kennedy. So, it's. I don't want to give away any more of it. Just see it. It's on Netflix. It's running right now.
Okay.
It's new trending. It's really good. I want to go see the Chicago 7. I'll be back next week with that.
Okay. You have your homework. You better have it done by then.
I sure will, Peach.
Okay.
I sure will.
Right.
And by the way,
of course it's going to be good. It's Aaron Sorkin. Sorkin. There hasn't been anything that Sorkin's done poorly in probably about 2 decades. I mean, that guy.
He's got it down. He's got it down. He's got it down.
Seems to know a thing or two about television. That guy.
So wait, you have the HBO. So Ivan, if you've got HBO Max, you should go check out that the West Wing thing that they did.
Okay.
They redid an episode where they did like a reading of some sort, and it just came out, and it's supposed to be phenomenal.
Okay, I'll look at this. West Wing? Okay.
They brought back pretty much the entire cast. The only person, obviously, they can bring back is what's his name, because he's dead. But they brought in Sterling K. Brown to do that role instead. So,
all right.
Yeah,
I will definitely check back with that too. So it's on the West Wing, and I got it. So I'll do it.
What other?
I'm going to be all Sorkined out by the time he comes back next week. He's going to have the West Wing revival. He's going to have the Chicago 7. He'll be next thing you know, he'll be like wanting to find Newsroom. Actually, you got HBO Max? Newsroom.
Yeah, Newsroom. Okay,
is phenomenal.
All right,
good stuff. That's.
It sounds like
good.
Jeff wants a password.
I've seen Newsroom. The only thing I would want to. It's funny because I had a conversation with somebody about Watchmen recently. Actually, it was John Suntress. I had a conversation with him about Watchmen because Watchmen won all those awards, and I was like, I got to tell you, I watched the first episode, and I was like, I can't watch this. I don't even know what the hell's going on.
You couldn't watch The Watchmen?
You couldn't watch The Watchmen?
No, I couldn't.
There's
unwatchable.
Honestly, I thought
he kept checking his watch.
I was. I'm not lying. I was kind of like looking at the time going, how much longer is this thing? And my understanding
just have to watch.
That apparently I needed to give it a few more episodes. But
There's a 3 episode rule. 3 strikes, you're out.
I'm not that guy. I try not to be that guy. I'm like, damn it, if you can't do it in 1 episode, I'm not sure how much I really. Well, anyway.
But Jeff, you've always been a fast trigger. If it doesn't, you're like me with a record. If you don't get me in the first 30 seconds, fuck you, I'm done. I get it, I can understand that a lot.
I mean, and it depends. If it doesn't, I just look. Sometimes I'm willing to sit through. Sometimes I'm willing to sit through stuff and give it another episode. This was one of those times where I watched the episode and I was just like, I'm not willing to give this another episode. And I keep telling, but I got people who keep telling me who know their stuff going, yeah, you need to give it at least another 2 episodes. I'm like, do I really have to? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. But I guess
guys.
there's a Dexter revival coming to Showtime.
Yes, there is a Dexter revival coming back. Yeah.
And
I think
so
it's coming back for 10 episodes. 10 episodes, I think.
Right. And then so Mike will have to give us a review on this. This is, so they've started to put ads out there for this on Disney Plus.
Here's your assignment, Mike.
The Lego
it's not
Star
coming
Wars
out yet.
Holiday Special.
The Lego Star Wars?
Lego Star Wars. They're doing a holiday special in the Lego Star Wars.
Right, like you know, of the Star Wars special,
the holiday special.
Right, the one that Lucas can't stand.
The one that everybody hates.
It is Lego.
I think it's going to be a 1-to-1 reproduction. It's just going to be like a Christmas special, or holiday special, or Life Day special.
Christmas special.
With the original and probably the sequel cast. And the teaser poster they have for it is a minifig's hand with a bow on it. It says, "To Luke from your father."
Right, yeah, I saw that. That's on our page, yeah.
So, I'm going to check that out next month. Of course, we got only, 10 days till The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Is that all it is?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
November, October 30. Yep, I'll be there.
Got something for you guys.
There's some news. There's some news stories out there, apparently some new comic stories that are going a little bit dark and more, in which they've aged the Ninja Turtles a little bit, which is interesting.
They got to try and reboot that.
I saw.
Keep that fresh.
It's comics, not necessarily.
Nothing on video. Nothing.
No, it's not. It doesn't. It looks like that. Speaking of video, of cartoons, though, apparently there's a trailer, and we have it on our page for the Darkwing Duck episode of DuckTales.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been going on for a while. That DuckTales series.
But apparently they're finally doing the Darkwing Duck episode.
They're bringing Darkwing, yeah.
And it looks great. It looks really, really great.
I like the series. I like the Darkwing Duck series when it was out.
Yeah,
when it was part of the
Gizmo. I think they're bringing Gizmo Duck back.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised they haven't. The Darkwing Duck always had a following. I'm very surprised.
That's the episode aired today on Disney XD.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of cartoons, okay, guys, I'm going to play a little game with you real quick. All right. No, it's cool. Now, if you had your choice to own the entire series of any one of these 6 cartoons, you have to pick one, and you were able to get every single thing that you ever wanted in the series of cartoons. All right, here we go. Here are the 6. Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
No, wait, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Hold on.
Not ready yet.
I've adjusted myself. I'm ready now.
I'm almost ready.
How do you feel?
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. If you're able to own all of the...
Yes, give me the 6. I know what you mean.
Okay, okay. He-Man, Super Friends, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, She-Ra. Now, if you have to pick one.
Well, duh. I'm obviously going to pick He-Man.
Yeah. You're doing this list for Mike. What do you think he's going to pick?
I know he's going to pick.
I already have all of Transformers.
Okay.
There's your answer. You already have the Transformers. Pick something else so you can get something else.
I don't know. G.I. Joe.
Okay, then what would be your second choice?
G.I. Joe, I guess. I mean, those... Every once in a while, I still got to recite that line, you know?
Yo, Joe?
G.I. Joe was America's code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force.
And now I know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Yeah. And then all the memes, all the funny videos came after. Don't give him the stick.
Okay, Jeff.
You know, this is more difficult than I thought this would be.
I missed a lot of She-Ra episodes, but
yeah. You see, I like He-Man, but not enough to.
Yeah, the Filmation He-Man is just not. It's Filmation, so it's a lot of cell reusage. So visually, it gets boring pretty fast.
The only thing that would be fun about He-Man is all the supposed gay references, where it's like, I've got a secret. And all that stuff, where it's like...
I met Alan Oppenheimer at TFCon. It was back in 2014, so I have Skeletor's autograph.
Okay. Ooh. Well, like, there's all these little references with Adam and He-Man that's like, I've got a secret. And then he turns into this, even buffer-looking guy.
It's the Four Non-Blondes song. That's the introduction. You know, Welcome to the Internet.
Something out of a gay man fantasy or something like that. I mean, there's always been those jokes, so there's a part of me where I'm like, I can just get He-Man just for the jokes.
So along step outside.
G.I. Joe would be so it comes down to it's like, look, Thundercats is interesting, but at the end of the day, you're only really watching it for Chitara.
And the first episode where the Thundercats have no clothes on, and Chitara, they're all like, you know, Sailor Moon in it. You know, obviously no nipples, but yeah, Chitara was naked. And for a brief scene in episode 1, you know, there's.
I mean, that's kind of. I mean, honestly, that's kind of like. So, I mean, I feel like I've
seen a couple of Chitara cosplays that are, like, freaking hot.
You got to say about Chitara,
Although, I think the Sorceress, was pretty hot.
Sorceress was hot. I thought she was kind of hot, too.
No, She-Ra was, I get it. It's like a girl.
I'm talking about the original 80s She-Ra. Anything after the 80s She-Ra, forget about it, you know.
I mean, if I'm going to...
Heard that Netflix series is good. I've been looking to watch that.
So the irony is, here's the problem.
What's the problem, Jeff?
My first reaction is, dude, give me the Super Friends. The problem is, I've watched the Super Friends shows.
Yeah, I watched them all growing up.
I watched them when I grew up, and boy, those things stop.
They didn't age well.
They don't age well at all.
Yeah, some of those villains and some of those capers that they have to solve, they're just not.
Well, it's not even that. Just it's like suddenly it's like I thought this had more action in it, or this is more interesting.
Then of course the incorporation of Wendy and then Marvin and then Wonder.
Well, that's when it started. Before the Super Friends, you had Wendy and the dog and whatever that kid's name.
Right.
Well, that's the one I was talking about. Is the one with Wendy and Marvin and Wonder Dog.
No, you said we get all of them.
Yeah.
No, that's what I say. You get all of them.
Does that include the challenge of the Super Friends with the Legion of Doom?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, and there was a Super Friends for a while between that, and then after that. And then there was the Superpower show where they had
with
Cyborg.
Frank Welker as Darkseid,
Yep. There you go.
You know what? I gotta be honest. I probably, even though it doesn't hold up well, I'd probably take the Super Friends.
Yeah, you can pick and choose out of that. Some of those were
I'd probably take the Super Friends. Because Legion, the challenge of the Super Friends
Super Friends! Wonder Woman!
That's cool enough.
Aquaman!
Cool. All right, so...
Superman.
Hey, as long as we're talking nostalgia, I don't know if either one of you guys saw this, but apparently Legendary is looking to reboot Buck Rogers.
What? They got to put Gil Gerard in there somewhere, man. I know he's getting old and he's not looking so well in his he hasn't matured very well, but you got to have Gil Gerard, man.
So apparently, and I didn't realize this. I guess Legendary also is working on Godzilla, King Kong. They're the ones who created Dune, and they are the one who do the Jurassic World series. But apparently, they're looking to bring back Buck Rogers. And
I had a Twinkie action figure back in the day.
A Twinkie action figure?
Yeah, they had it was probably the same scale as the 3 3/4 Star Wars. Twinkie. Not Twinkie. That's later in the well, for News of the Squared, we had a Twinkie story for later in the week. No, Mel Blanc was the voice of Twinkie. Yeah, and I lost a little sticker that was Dr. Theopolis. He carried around around his neck like a Flavor Flav medallion.
Yeah, the Flavor Flav.
It was Dr. Theopolis.
A big clock.
You know what? They should really. That's the way they should do it. They should have like Flavor Flav with the big clock with the
and
with the droid in it. Yeah,
Aaron Gray was hot, man.
Round Hornet.
Yeah. Oh my God. That whole, there's an example of another one of those shows where it's like, I can't imagine that there weren't like kids in puberty.
And this
was
the early '80s when things were still
where it was like, right. Well, and not only that, it's like, okay, the tightest spandex you can find, put Aaron Gray in it.
Let the woman in, Dino Girl.
Yeah, well. I don't know about that, but
what else?
But so let me. Here's my question to you, Buck Rogers. If you're putting together a Buck Rogers series, and in fairness, let's skip past all the other stuff.
Okay.
Who are you thinking for a lead?
We need an unknown. We can't have like an established.
You sure?
Actor. I don't know. Put David Spade. I don't know.
David Spade.
I don't know. I'm kidding. I said you gotta have somebody unknown. Nobody like you can't put Dwayne the Rock Johnson in it as Buck Rogers.
Not a Van Diesel. No.
What about Chris Evans?
Nah, he's. I think by now we need somebody a little younger, like like an astronaut. The kind of more like square jawed, like Mark Kelly astronaut kind of looking dude. Not like saying bald, like I don't know. I'd say we need an unknown. I can't place a role for Buck Rogers. He needs to make it his own. That's all I'm saying.
Could we go woman? Can we
make Buck Rogers a woman like Starbucks?
Yeah. Can we go that route? Someone said Donald Glover.
Sure. Yeah,
that might work. I still feel like Chris Evans would work for this. Because he's got that square jaw looking thing.
Yeah, he's got that heroic kind of all-American astronaut kind of.
Chin.
He'd play a good Captain America. You should have cast him as that. Yeah.
He's got that chin.
If you really wanted to go young, couldn't you go Tom Holland? That seems too young, though.
He still looks like a teenager. Somebody did a cool cosplay of the. I saw this on Facebook. Somebody did a cosplay of the older brother, who was voiced by Chris Pratt in Onward, and damn, that was so cool. Like he had the blue skin and the leather jacket to look like the older brother in Onward. But anyway, no, Tom Holland would be too young.
I'm curious if they'll do a lot of this stuff with the like from the 80s mythology, or if they'll create some of their own, or what they'll do with it. It just kind of makes me laugh, because the other thing is, it's like, here's a perfect example where it's like they're bringing back Buck Rogers. To me, I always laugh about the fact it's like, and Ivan might know this, is Flash Gordon still tied up in all kinds of legal bullshit?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Is it? Man, yeah. There's an example of one of those things where it's like, you could do, it's kind of funny, because it's like, it's gotten to the point where it's like, there's that 80s movie, and it's like, there's a part of me where it's like, it's so bad, and yet at the same time, it's a cult. Right.
Flash.
Right.
Wow.
And it's gotten to the point to it's an occult level thing where people are like, no, you can't do anything new. That one's like forever.
Sam Jones, Johnny. Sam frickin' Jones.
Yeah.
We see what else we got. Disney investor urges company to move Marvel's Black Widow to streaming. Yes, please. I want to see this freaking film.
Well, I think most of it's going to go to streaming now. In fact, I think there's an article out there saying that that Disney is just going to strictly go streaming for the remainder of the year.
Well,
so I think everything that's been held up so far as the Disney camp is concerned, I think they're just throwing in their lot and saying, "Fuck it, let's just put it out there. Why are we going to wait all this time? It's done. Let's get it seen."
Well, we talked a little bit about some of this last week, and the fact that, yeah, they've got some people pushing really hard for to move that direction. We'll see. I mean, part of it is there's only so many movies that you set with the expectation of making box office money,
right?
That at some point you can take a loss leader on, and at some point, because they haven't figured out the money to figure out what it means to do something streaming wise yet enough. They were expecting to make certain amounts of money because on a Black Widow movie, they have an estimation on how much they think they're going to make, and so that's
but would you think that it would be to the best of you to put the product out there before it gets to the point where people are going to wait so long until they finally say, fuck it, I'm not interested in it no more?
I don't know if it's well, especially with something like Black Widow, it's not fucking
the MCU, yeah.
I
wouldn't be, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they put it up like as soon as like The Mandalorian season 2 is over, and then everybody thinks they can cancel their Disney Plus account.
You cancel the Disney Plus account, and then
here comes Black Widow, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe something to hold them over in the winter.
But wait, there's more.
Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, to me, it's interesting because it's going to be interesting to see because which ones they're doing. Like as it is, they're doing Soul. They're going to release Soul, which was supposed to come out in the movies, and it's going to be free on Disney Plus. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yes. They're stating that for a Christmas release, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. On Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So apparently there's an issue with the whole Charmed thing. Apparently there's some sort of video where Holly Combs and Rose McGowan were talking about the new Charmed, and they weren't really thrilled about it or said they didn't like it. And one of the current stars started talking about it, and apparently caught wind of it, and then made a comment about talking about how they should be more understanding, and then kind of turned it into a person of color thing, which I was kind of surprised about because I watched the video. That's not where they were going with this at all. And so now Rose McGowan's kind of like on backpedal mode because she's like one of the #MeToo founders, so to speak.
Right.
But yeah, apparently, I don't know. I watched one episode of the new Charmed. If people like it, obviously they're on season 3, so I guess somebody's watching it. But I get why some of them are a little annoyed, which is, that they weren't looked at or consulted or considered to be brought back in any way, shape, or form from the previous grouping. But I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what the deal is about the property, or are they really working off of off of what they previously had, or you get the idea.
Shannon Doherty is not in this new series, but she's given it her blessing.
Well, of course she has, because she kind of had a falling out with Holly Combs and Alyssa Milano and a little bit in that way when she left. So, and really in reality, there's another Aaron Spelling show where magically Shannon Doherty seemed to leave because, couldn't get along with Aaron Spelling at the time. But there is a question I want to get to you guys here in a second, but I want to speed up a little bit to get to a couple things.
Yeah, we're running a little long. Too much radio talk.
Did you?
Not saying it's a bad thing, but I miss the old radio days. I miss the old station.
Did either of you guys catch? So, Die Hard Batteries created.
They did a trailer for a Die Hard movie, but it's for Die Hard Batteries.
Yes, and it was actually pretty good.
What?
It's pretty good. It's on our Squarespace. It's not bad.
And this is the time of year where people's car batteries need replacing because it's getting cold out. So
yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. It's on the Squares Roundtable Facebook page, but it's
not bad.
It's Mr. McClane. Yeah, needs a new battery for his car.
Yeah. And they found the guy who plays Argyle, and
Yeah, the limo driver. Yeah,
the limo driver guy. So a couple other things of note. Apparently, New York is going to start to limitedly.
Limitedly.
You get the idea. They're not going to fully reopen on movies, but they are starting to reopen on movies.
Yep.
China has now overtaken America, at least for this particular year, as the top box office in the world.
Yeah.
And then the most interesting thing is, so, there have been a couple more recent releases. So, like, for example, of this, we talked about it last week, the Liam Neeson thing, The Honest Thief. That
Taken
basically
Part
sounds
9,
like,
yeah.
Taken Part 9. So Taken Part 9 did about $3.7 million, which, for considering everything going on, that's not a bad haul.
Not too shabby.
My understanding is Tenet has now, in America, reached 50 million domestic. I'm looking to see what else. I guess there's that War with Grandpa thing with what's his name? Robert De Niro. And according to this, in its 10-day domestic, it's at 7.3.
Huh.
And the more interesting part is this, apparently. I guess they've been re-airing The Nightmare Before Christmas in movie theaters?
Yeah, it's at our theater here, our local theater here.
And supposedly it made... It's made 1.3 million, and it's grossing. And then I guess Hocus Pocus is out there too, and it's made almost 800,000.
I mentioned that on the last show that you're talking about old 80s movies or 90s movies that are coming back. I mean, Beetlejuice has made top dollar. Hocus Pocus is back making top dollar.
Well, if you want to say 1.7 million nationwide, top dollar.
Who are the people? I gotta be honest. Who are the people going to the movies to go to see Hocus Pocus?
Well, it's because it's familiar. It's nostalgia.
I guess.
I didn't like Hocus Pocus.
Because you know what? It's October and everybody's getting Halloweened out. I mean, even from the first day in October, everybody's Halloweening out. I mean, it's all over. It's all over the ether and all over the net waves and everything. Just like
the net waves.
Halloween.
It's all over the net
waves.
All over the net waves.
Okay, so here's where I think we can end today with a. Ivan gave his wacky question, spirited debate. Here's mine. I like this one, and Mike might have already seen it. So Bruce Wayne, Tony Stark, Lex Luthor, Victor Von Doom, and T'Challa are locked in a room and forced to play Monopoly. Who will win? Who goes bankrupt first?
Tony Stark.
I was going to say that because I would think that Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne would be too busy watching each other, but so to let Tony Stark would be like the wild card.
Yeah.
And maybe he might eke through by I think he'd beat Bruce Wayne by $1 out of some crazy lucky fluke. But the first one to go bankrupt would be either Victor or T'Challa, because let's face it, I think T'Challa would I think Dr. Doom and T'Challa would try and vie for second place, while Luthor and I think that's I'd say probably
I think you guys are selling. So here's the problem. If I go through this, if I'm analyzing each one of them, so you got Bruce Wayne, who basically, quite frankly, is like the guy who analyzes every angle.
Yeah, the detective. Yeah.
I mean, there's just, this guy is on top of everything.
Yeah.
Like Robert Palmer, he's always searching for clues.
Well, it's not even that. It's just, this guy's everywhere.
Yeah.
You got Tony Stark, who's a little bit more of a flamboyant. He's more tech than he is, how can I say?
But he is a genius, like Luthor.
He's a genius, but it's more towards the tech realm in some ways than anything. Luthor. Look, Luthor. The thing about Luthor is, and I love Luthor, but Luthor gets obsessed.
Yeah, and his ego gets in the way too, like Tony.
Right. And I mean, really, in reality, all Bruce Wayne has to sit there and go, so, Superman, and that's the end. That's the end, because he goes nuts. Doom is the one that scares me the most. Doom is the guy who likes to sit there and bide his time until he finds his moment.
Well, same. I think you say the same thing for Bruce.
Yeah, that's why, if anything, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of like, Luthor, I don't know. There's a part of me with T'Challa where he's so cool that maybe he could pull it off.
Yeah, maybe really with a poker face, yeah.
He's so cool, and while all the other ones were jockeying for position, he could just sit there and hang and do his thing. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to between Doom and Bruce Wayne, and that I don't even know where to go. I mean, it's hard for me to say. I mean,
yeah,
there's a part of me I want to go Victor. I want to go Victor.
I think we can file. I think we can file this one under endless conundrum.
Well, the problem is you never want to bet against Batman, but at the same time, Victor Von Doom. I mean, he's pulled off. I mean, if you've seen stuff in comics that he's pulled off. I mean, at one point he sapped all the powers away from the Beyonder.
Capers within capers within capers.
I mean, you know,
he spins some large webs.
I came in for the capers. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're right, because Lex and Tony their egos would get in the way.
Yeah. Although I gotta tell you, that would be an interesting, if they ever did crossovers again, I would love to see how that dynamic would work in terms of if that was his nemesis as a villain. And it's funny, because Justin Hammer is a poor man's Lex Luthor. A really poor man's Lex Luthor. I mean, when I say poor, I mean like cardboard box. You're talking
between Ace Hardware and the dollar store.
Fuck okay, not even the dollar store, like the 50-cent store.
Oh.
I mean, Justin Hammer they never really got that character right. But that's basically who they're trying to do is Luthor.
Right.
But they made him so pathetic anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say your assessment would be accurate, just between Victor and Bruce.
It's hard to sit there and see. This is hard. This is a lot harder than I thought. Because I mean, there's a part of me where I want to be like, okay, T'Challa comes in out of nowhere and wins, but it's like, man, how do you pick against Batman? You don't. You don't pick against Batman. Rule number one: don't pick against Batman. But it's
no.
Yeah, I remember this old comic I saw back in the 2000s where it's see Batman ducking and jumping and weaving, and he's playing Dance Dance Revolution, and the screen says perfect because Batman is perfect at everything.
Well, okay, so here's the real answer. If Grant Morrison is writing, then we pick Batman. There's your real answer. Okay.
Yeah, Batman is perfect.
Well, it's one of those things where I swear, like at some point they made Batman. They turned Batman into like this like savant where he's like this uber genius, ridiculous. He can pretty much like if you give him prep time, like
so he's autistic.
You're done. No, I wouldn't say autistic. But if you give Batman too much prep time, you're fucking done. You're done. I don't care who you are. You're done. Although I'll tell you right now, the only person who would scare me more with prep time is Kevin McAllister.
Okay.
That would be the only person who'd scare me more than Batman with prep time. Because, yeah.
So where do we go get hold of all this wonderful episodage?
Episodage?
Yeah, episodage.
Episodage. All of our episodages are on your favorite podcast hosting platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple, Anchor. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SO2T Podcast. I retweeted this one. Oh, my God, it's so funny. This one guy impersonating Trump talking about Weird Al Yankovic.
I saw that. That was hysterical.
And just his use of grammar and syntax. I mean, it's awesome. You got to see it. It's on our Twitter page. It's like a 2-minute rant. I wanted to put it on Facebook, but I didn't know how to put it on YouTube or put it to YouTube anyway. So we're on Instagram and Twitter. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe, you know when to get new content. We're on Facebook, and then you're going to see all our crazy stories for news of the squared later in the week.
Yes.
Email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com. Ivan is on twitch.tv. That's Java and Ivan. And he's also on SoundCloud. Follow him on Facebook for crazy DJ gigs. Of course, we'll link them to our Squares Facebook page as well. Yep. And so, yeah, guess that'll do it for 121 here of the Squares on Table. A lot of radio reminiscing here.
Yeah, I'm going to give a tease. I'm going to give a tease for next week's show, which is, so it dawns on me that the new Teen Titans from Wolfman and Perez is now 40 years old.
Uh-huh. And I saw Alex Ross did a remake of the issue 1 cover.
Oh man, yeah. I shot my load all over that. But yeah.
Wow, faster than the librarian.
Faster
than the speeding bullet.
The mouthy librarian. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely would love. I'm gonna kind of do a little homework, but yeah. So definitely would love to talk a little bit about Titans next week because, like I said, it's the 40th anniversary, and it's amazing. I mean, it's kind of like, wow, 40 years, holy cow.
And not like 40 years of Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, gosh. Yep, folks, it's been around a while.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's like
he is too old to begin the training. All right, see y'all next week.
Bye.